This is how many unread books I have on my shelves, but that's the goal. Anytime I go into Target, anytime I go to Barnes & Noble, somehow I leave those stores with a book in my hand. If you want to know some stats, I just counted all my bookshelves. I have 245 books on my shelves, and of those 245, I have read 160 of them and have not read 85 of them, meaning I've read 65% of the books on my shelves, but after today, I'm trying to get that number up even higher because I'm going to be doing a huge unhaul. I'm also going to be unhauling books that I have read before and simply just don't want on my shelves anymore. I do want my bookshelves to be filled with like great memories of fun books, or like honestly even like the worst memories. Sometimes books are like so bad you just kind of have to keep them. You just kind of have to. But then for the books I haven't read yet, so if I like picture myself drawing a book out of the jar and like physically wanting to kind of die a little bit because I just don't want to read it that badly, I'm getting rid of it because yeah. So first things first, I guess let's go through all my shelves. I don't know how long this is gonna take, but let's start the culling. That is a word, right? Culling. Let's start the culling. Yeah, no. Okay. Anyways, yeah. So I'm starting over here. This is the first ever bookshelf I like filled up. So it has some of my earliest like reads and my earliest buys. So this shelf definitely has the largest percentage of unread books because obviously as more time went on, I kind of discovered my taste and I'm able to actually pick out books I know I'd want to read. So I feel like this bookshelf is going to be looking a little bit sparse, but let's just pick through it, I guess. Alright, let's see. The first victim. Oh, I feel so bad. This one I got as a gift and it still has the card inside. Oh my god, I'm actually a horrible human being. Wait. It's from my grandma. It's like, I can't read this handwriting. Oh, I feel so bad. Okay, I think a lot of the books like I don't want anymore or I don't see myself reading are unfortunately like gifts I got, or at least some of them are. For example, this one, My Name is Anton, I did get as a gift years ago from my lovely sweet grandma, and I kept this one for the longest time, telling myself, like I swore, I was like, okay, I'm reading this, I don't think it's gonna happen. Ooh, this one, this is gonna anger some people, but the selection, it's gotta go, it's gotta go. Okay, yeah, I was right. This shelf is very sparse. I'm going to definitely be angering some people with the books I have chosen to get rid of, but you'll see my explanation for why and it'll hopefully make more sense. But yeah, this shelf is going to be needing a big revamp because we got lots of spaces to fill. Alright, bookshelf 2. This one's probably my favorite bookshelf just like by aesthetics. I don't know, I just love the way it looks. I think it's so like, I don't know, I just love it. And it has all my manga up here and stuff, which I don't count as books personally, so I'm not getting rid of them or counting them in the books I've read or haven't read. Let's see which ones I want to get rid of. This one is tricky because I read like a really good chunk of it, but then just like never continued it. So like, do I keep books I like DNF'd? I don't know, but I feel like I'm probably never gonna go back to this one, so probably not. And also, look what I found. Harry Potter bookmark? Okay, let me reclaim that, thank you. Do I keep these? Ugh, I don't know. There's that one. Is it bad I low-key don't want to keep my copies of Dune? Like, I put in all that effort at reading it just to not even want to keep it. Oh well. Alright, so yeah, this one wasn't too bad. This is all the books I took away from this one. Let's move on to the last shelf. And welcome to my room for the final bookshelf. Hey, that's kind of a lie. I do have some more books over here, but I'm not getting rid of any of these, so I'm not really counting them, but over here. This one over here I am counting, so let's look through it. These, oh my gosh, these books are like the whole reason I decided to make this video, because I've been eyeing them because I hate every single one of them and just never want to read them. So 2, 3, 4. Moving on, the adults. Alright, this shelf complete. Currently, I'm sitting surrounded by all of the books I am going to be unhauling today. It feels like I'm kind of like sitting on like my throne of books. Like, instead of throne of glass, it's throne of books. Get it? Because I'm sitting, yeah. Okay, so let's just go ahead and get started with the stats, and then I'll go through like all the reasons why I'm getting rid of the books I am getting rid of. So currently surrounding me, I have 41 books I am unhauling, and that may not seem like that big of a number, but taking into account that I have 245 books on my shelves, this is 17% of my bookshelves, which I don't know, to me seems like a big number. It might not to you, but like I said, I'm a hoarder, so like even 1% of my books, that seems like a lot. Let's just go ahead and get through them. So the first series I'm going to be unhauling is okay, anyways, the selection series. So I actually have read the first 2 books, and I think I got like a little bit into the last one, but I just like never finished it. I don't know, I read these in like middle school. I don't see myself rereading these ever, and I did enjoy them. I loved the first 2. They kind of like ignited my passion for reading, but it's time for these to find a new home. The next 2 books I'm getting rid of, I have not read these books, but they are both Ruta Sepetys books. I know I just butchered that name horribly, but I have heard really, really good things about this author. But I bought these books in 2021 when I was like only wanting to read sad books. So these are both books about like war. They're both historical fictions and are very much tragedies, and I just personally, I can no longer read sad books, or like if I read a book and it's sad, then that's great, but I can't go into a book solely for the reason of wanting to like feel bad or like cry. I don't know why I ever wanted to do that. Something was definitely wrong with me. But currently I just don't want to like make myself sad if I don't have to, like, so that's for the reason why I'm getting rid of these books. Next is the book I talked about with you earlier. My name is Anton. My grandma did give this to me, and like I said earlier, it's another kind of historical fiction, then and now timeline, I believe, but it's not really something I'm interested in. This is where it ends. I have read this book. This is a book about, actually I don't think I can say that on YouTube. It does involve schools and death, if you can go ahead and take a guess about what that's about. But this is another book I bought when I was like, I just want to be sad. And so I actually read this in school, great timing, by the way, yeah. And I don't know, I read this, I liked it at the time, but I would never recommend this to anybody. I would never read it again, so it's going away. Iron Widow. I have not read this book, and this one has also been on my shelves for a super long time, and it sounds super intriguing, but there are just some books for me that like I know I would maybe like it, or at least like it sounds interesting, but just for some reason I can't bring myself to like physically pick it up and read it. And if that's been happening for like over 4 years now, I think it's time to like set it aside. Wait, have I started this? Oh my gosh, I found another one of my Harry Potter bookmarks. What the heck? Okay, thank you, I guess. Cemetery Boys, Symmetry, what do you say? I read another book by this author. I think it was called like Sun God, God of the Sun, no clue. I really like that one, but this one, it's just like too specific for me. Like it's very Halloween-y, and personally I don't really read books that are like Christmas books, Halloween books, Thanksgiving books. It's just like, I don't really like that because I feel like it limits the extent of what your book could be. This one I know might trigger some people in multiple ways, but Girl in Pieces. I am getting rid of this one because same thing, I bought it when I was like, yes, what could emotionally devastate me and scar me the most? And this is the book that probably came up the most. Yeah, I'm not reading this. These next 4 books are kind of going to be lumped together because to me they all kind of like, I bought them all at the exact same time of my life. So those are The Sun Is Also a Star, The Fault in Our Stars, A Thousand Boy Kisses, and All the Bright Places. So definitely some controversial picks with these 2 for sure. But to me right now, they're all kind of giving like books you would be assigned in middle school to read, and low-key, that's exactly when I got these books. So All the Bright Places, I did watch the movie and I read like half of this, but Hook, Line, and Sinker is our next read that I'm not gonna read. I'm already not really a huge fan of like romance books. Like I never like romance books. To me, I just like can't get as excited about a romance book as I can about a fantasy book, and that's no shade towards romance books because I love romance. Like when it's done right and put into a fantasy book, that is like the best thing ever, but I just need some higher stakes. Like to me, reading a romance book is like eating food without watching YouTube. But fantasy books, it's like eating food, having YouTube on blast. I'm also scrolling on TikTok at the same time. Like it just like stimulates my brain in exactly the way I need it to, that romance books can't. So I don't really gravitate towards them, and so if I don't find it interesting from the back, I'm not reading it ever. The Friend Scheme, I did read this book. I liked it. Yeah, I actually have nothing negative to say about this book, but it's just kind of one of those books where I'm like, meh. I know none of my friends personally would read it, so just better home somewhere else. And now for the end of our first stack, we have the Magus Runner series. So I once again got these in middle school, and I read the first book, but the rest of the books are not being read. I watched the movies, that's enough for me, it's not happening. Believe me, I have actually not read this one. This is the last Shatter Me novella, but for some reason, I read all the other novellas. I love the Shatter Me series. It's just, this one, I cannot bring myself to read it. Like, I finished the last book and I was done. I saw this book and I kind of wanted to vomit a little bit, so no. Lock Every Door, Riley Sager. So I read one other Riley Sager book and I didn't like how it was paranormal. And this book I think is even more paranormal than the other one I read, which was House Across the Lake. So I just don't really want to read this one, and once again, I don't really find myself like picking up a thriller intentionally. So if I already know I'm not gonna like a certain aspect of it, I'm just not gonna read it. Now we have The Adults. So this was a book I bought at Barnes & Noble when I was trying to be pretentious and was like, oh my goodness, I love unknown literary fiction books, so I'm gonna read all of them. Anyways, The Ember Blade. So I did read this one, and it had lots of potential at first, but I think it just kind of fell really flat towards the end, and I don't know. I didn't like it. I don't see anyone talking about it on like TikTok or social media, and I'm really like big into like fandoms and like communications about books, especially if they are fantasy books. Like I need to talk with someone about it, and I know none of my friends are really big on fantasy, or at least like high fantasy, so I just don't see myself wanting to keep this book for like any purpose, you know? Now, these next two books, oh my gosh, they're going to anger some people. This is my like biggest hot take of all, and that is the Natural series, bro. The Natural series is straight garbage. I read this first book. I don't know why I even bought the second book. Well, I bought it before I read this one because I thought this one would be so great. I read this. I did read it during a 24-hour challenge, mind you. It was like 6 a.m. and I stayed up all night. But this was the most boring, like, most stupid, most infuriating book I've ever read ever. And it feels like useless. It feels like the author wasted pages to write this book. That was a little harsh, but I don't see anybody not liking this book, so I feel even stronger need to defend my pride, my sanity for not liking this book. Yeah. No, do not read this book. I honestly forgot if I read this. I'm pretty sure I did, but it was just that unrememberable. This book was just the most forgettable, like, mid-fantasy book you could ever read. Now I have Snow Crash. So I've never read this one. It's kind of like a cyberpunk, like, it's giving, what's it called? Sword Art Online. Like, exactly that premise. If you've watched that anime, that's exactly what this book is, and that actually kind of sounds good. Yeah, actually, never mind. Next up, these three books I also got as a gift. I got them for Christmas. And they're the prequel before Dance of Thieves, and so I thought for sure I would read this book before I read the Dance of Thieves book, but I just never did, and then I eventually just ended up reading Dance of Thieves anyway, so now it's kind of like, what's the point? Twisted Love. Same thing about the romance thing earlier I said, and also I just like have heard very mixed opinions about this book, and I just don't think it's like my cup of tea. I don't think I would like it, so what's the point of keeping it? Now we have In My Dreams I Hold a Knife. So I actually liked this book when I read it, but I've just like never thought about it again, and it's just kind of meh, so I'm getting rid of it. Now we have Ordinary. So I read like half of this book and DNF'd it, and I don't see myself picking it back up again. Oh my gosh, guys, we have 2 books left. 2 books. Okay, so next we have Cinder. I've also not read this book. It's another one, like, it's just like a steampunk kind of vibe. Retelling of Cinderella. I mean, a lot of my answers for like not wanting to keep a book is just because I don't want to read it, and that is true. Like, it seems really cool, but it also seems just like not something I would really like. I can see myself just giving it like a 3-star. And this last book is I feel like I'm gonna get like lots of comments like, no, please, you have to at least like try, please, it's so good, it's so worth it. But that book is Clockwork Angel by Cassandra Clare. So I got this book before I realized it was a part of this like huge series, and so after like investigating further, I already had enough difficulty choosing whether to read Throne of Glass or Assassin's Blade first. So how am I gonna choose what book series to start first in this Infernal Devices or whatever world this is? Do y'all feel out of breath? I feel out of breath. That was a lot. The whiteboard is back. So now that I have unhauled 41 books, I now have 56 books left on my physical TBR, and that does still seem like a lot, but I did have 85 to start with, so this is a lot better, and now my bookshelves are hopefully filled with books I would actually want to read. So for my next TBR takedown video, I can hopefully enjoy my experience a bit more If you're wondering where these books are going to go, I'm first going to let my friends go through them to see if they would like any of the books, and then I'm going to go around and see if I can find any like little free libraries. In my area, I don't see a ton, so I would have to do a lot of like scrounging around, scavenging. But then for the rest of the books, if I can't find that, I'm probably gonna take them to like half price books and like donate them or sell them, something like that. If you would also like to see a video about that, trying to find like little free libraries and then going to half price books or whatnot, please let me know. I feel like that'd be a really fun video, kind of like out on the town exploring video. But yeah, I had so much fun unhauling all these books today. Hopefully you enjoyed my suffering too. But yeah, it does feel like a good like weight lifted off my shoulders. I'm like, oh my gosh. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, make sure to leave a like, comment down below, and smash that subscribe button. Yeah! I will hopefully see you in the next video. Bye everyone!